All right, hey folks. So today's topic is squatting and allowing the knees to go over the toes and past vertical. Is it bad for your knee health? And I'm going to break that down for you. So, firstly, thanks for making it onto my channel. If you have any questions or comments, pop them down below. And if you'd like to work with me on your own strength, physique, fat loss, contest prep, whatever types of endeavors, then get in touch. There's a link in the description. Pop a message in. Let's talk. All right. So I got this question from one of the viewers, Tej. So Tej, thanks for the question. Came in the comments, and I thought it was a good enough question that it deserved a full answer on video because sadly I've seen quite a few people not train effectively because they were afraid of injury. So I want to break all that down for you in this video. So Tej says, going beyond 90 degrees is very bad for your knees. Saw a clip by Dexter Jackson stating that. Your thoughts? All right. So firstly, Tej, thanks for the question. And I understand your concerns because this is something which gets tossed around a lot. And obviously you don't want to mess up your knees. So this is a long-standing myth that's been around for like decades at this stage. Now, some of that comes actually from research, which is a little bit confusing. And I'm going to talk to you about one of the more famous studies which tested this. And it is right here. So this was a study called Effect of Knee Position on Hip and Knee Torques During the Barbell Squat. So you can see here, I couldn't find the full paper, but I found the sort of the summary of the paper as well as some images online. But I have read this paper before years ago. I just couldn't find the full copy. If anyone has a full copy, can you email it to me or forward it to me? Now, effectively, they set people up with either a wooden board in front of their knees or not. So the knees were allowed to go over the toes, or they had this wooden board here to prevent the knees from going over the toes. So they had to remain fairly vertical. And you can see it had a fairly direct knock-on in terms of training what the form looked like. So on the left, the form actually looks pretty good. He's fairly upright. He's going down into a parallel squat, and his knees go slightly beyond his toes. You can see it by the black line there. With the other form here, the knees are not allowed to go past the toes. They just stop at the toes. And you've got this wooden board here which prevents you from doing that. Now, as a result, what has to happen is, one, the depth is compromised. So there's that. And two, the butt shoots way far out and the back is more bent over. So the net result is this. Knees over the toes does place more stress on the knees. Okay, knees behind the toes places more stress on the lower back. Also, as a result, the elbows and the hamstrings and back in general turns it into more of a good morning lift and provides less quad stress because obviously less on your knees. So in terms of what this means for us, well, why are we in the gym? We're in the gym to get stronger. So what causes adaptation? What causes you to get stronger? Like if you have poor knees, or let's say you never strengthen your knees, you never allow your knees to go past parallel, what's going to cause them to adapt? Like stress. Like, so not allowing your knees to go over your toes for fear of knee stress, it's like not going to the gym for fear of stressing your muscles. It's like never doing, I don't know, math because for fear of getting it wrong. It's like never doing algebra for fear of getting it wrong. It's like never doing your accounts for fear of screwing those up. If you have that attitude towards everything in life, it's like not cooking, and not because for fear of getting it wrong. It's like not eating for fear of choking. It's like not breathing for fear of breathing in something some pollution. It's like you can't live your life like that. That's not how we live. We have stress and we adapt to that stress. It's the silliest thing ever. It's insane. So I understand where some of this comes from. It comes from people misinterpreting research, or perhaps they're getting hurt doing stupid things in the gym. But understand this, like getting hurt doing stupid things is not a problem of the knees going over the toes. It's a problem because the person who's propagating the myth got hurt from doing stupid things. Now, with regards to Dexter Jackson, there are plenty of reasons why he might avoid additional knee stress. Plenty of reasons. I don't know what his knee health is like. I don't know how he feels like in the morning, but he may have just heard it from somebody else. Perhaps Charles Glass told him. I don't know. But there are swaths of Olympic lifters who squat with their knees over their toes and have absolutely zero problems. So hopefully that makes sense. Like not allowing your knees to naturally go over your toes. I'm not saying force it, but not allowing your knees to naturally go over your toes. It's like saying, I'm just not going to do anything for fear of like breaking apart. You can't live your life like that. It's not how, and also, luckily, it's not how the human body works or has adapted to live through the countless sort of the time it has lived and adapted. So, as an example, there's a lady I know with chronic back pain, and she's constantly messaging me on Instagram. Like whenever I post my training videos, like all through lockdown, I was posting tons of training videos, and she's always saying, "Oh, careful with your back, that would kill me," and stuff like that. She has like really, really bad lower back pain. She's actually works in the medical field herself, and she has to do a lot of heavy lifting for that. But she refuses to strengthen her back. Like she refuses to even do the most basic of hip extension exercises, like with even just like a Romanian deadlift with a barbell. She refuses to do that. She's like, nope, my back hurts, can't do it. It's like, that's why your back hurts, because you're not strengthening it. That's why you have pain, because you are weak. And I think one of the things is everyone loves to put a condition on what they have. It's like, yeah, I've got chronic lower back pain. I've got a disc issue. No one likes to be told you're weak as piss. That's a truth. Like, so it's like people go to I remember one of my this was a nice learning lesson for me, because I'm not prone, I'm not immune to this either. I remember one of my first strongman competitions I went to, and I didn't do very well in one of the events, and I was like, yeah, I just need to improve my technique. And my friend Mike was there, and he says, no, Faz, you just need to get stronger. He just said, yeah, you're weak. Okay, fair enough. But sometimes you need to hear that, but people don't like to hear it. Like people love to label themselves with things like, oh, I've got a big appetite. So yeah, I've got a huge appetite. But what they don't like to admit is that I eat like shit. And so I eat all these appetite stimulating foods. So in the same way, people love to lay conditions on themselves like, oh yeah, I've got bad knees, rather than strengthening what should be weak, what is weak, making it strong. Because people, they're better with hearing a label than they are with just admitting to themselves they're weak as piss. So that's a bit of a rant there for you. So the solution is, as long as you've got no pre-existing knee injuries, the knees are well capable of handling the stress from a squat. Like, it's not that much. If you've ever been for a jog or for a run, there's far more stress on the knees and on the ankles in a jog, because that's the mechanics of the movement than in a squat. So so you can't be afraid of squats. Squats are a very safe movement done. So start low, progressively build up, and your knees will handle the stress. If you start to do stupid things like, I'm going to go and just do 60 kilos or 100 kilos and I'm going to only go halfway down, like, that's going to mess up your knees. It reminds me of a client I had recently, actually, who he was working on the pendulum squat with about 6 plates aside. And he said he couldn't go down any further because his knees hurt. Like, your knees hurt because you're not capable of handling the stress. So if you go right the way down to this low amount of weight, then go to the bottom, you will build strength and mass in the full range of motion. So as long as you don't have any pre-existing knee injuries and doctor clears you, your knees are more than capable of handling the stress from a properly performed squat, as long as you start low and build up progressively. So yeah, that involves no ego lifting, great technique, incremental load, and some degree of periodization or variation when it's appropriate. If you do have an injury and you get cleared by the doctor, build your weaknesses up. All right, folks. So that's my take on the whole knees over toes or past 90 degrees sort of question. Hopefully that resonated with you. Hopefully that made sense. But yeah, if you have a weakness, work on your weakness. This goes for anything. Like, this is the very essence of what we do as human beings. We adapt. So if you place a certain stress on the body and on the mind, as long as that stress is enough, it starts off enough that you can overcome it, and it loads incrementally, then you will get better. And that is the magic of the gym and barbell movements, is that you can incrementally load them. So get to it. Thank you, guys and girls. I'll speak to you soon.